Welcome to Women on the Move Empowerment Sessions brought to you by the Streaming Sanctuary. This is the space where faith meets forward movement and empowerment in the spirit. Today's session is all about the whole and well lady. And this session is for the woman who's doing a lot. You're carrying a lot of responsibility. You're stewarding the vision that God gave you, and you're also trying to hold space for others, but yet you're sensing that God is inviting you into a more aligned way of living. It's all about balance and harmony. No more hustle, no more pressure of life, but balance anchored in wisdom, balance anchored in boundaries, and to receive spiritual clarity. Listen, balance isn't all about perfection, but it's about alignment and being aligned with what God wants us to do in each and every season. Knowing what season you're in, what deserves your energy right now, and what God is asking you to steward differently. Today, we're going to reflect honestly on our finances, on friendships, organization, rest, and what practices can help us stay centered when life gets a little bit too loud. In this session, it's all about beginning where alignment starts, and that's with awareness in the spirit. So let's get ready to dive into this conversation. Come on, let's go. For everything that you have done for us, God. We thank you for this holiday season. And God, we thank you for what's about to be imparted during this empowerment session. Lord, we know that you have already been moving in our lives. And Lord, I know that you have already been moving in the life of Kaya. And I thank you for every experience that she has been able to go through. Honestly, God, that I feel has prepared her for this moment. This is a divine moment, Lord, and you knew every experience that she would go through would be a help to another lady that has already went through it or going through the same. So I thank you for her willingness. God, I ask that you just pour back into her and be a blessing to her. God, I thank you for her willingness and her humbleness to be a blessing to all the women who are going to be blessed by what she's going to bring. Just have your way in us and through us. In the name of Christ, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I am truly honored to welcome Miss Kaya Watts into this conversation today. And Kaya, every time I see you, I see a woman who definitely embraces balance and harmony. And not in a performative way, like you're trying to put on airs or put on a show for anybody, but in a way that I can tell that you live it, that you are intentional about it, and you are someone who walks with an understanding of the value of taking a moment to just pause and prioritize your life with care. I see the way that you handle your family, and that's why I was like, I want her to come and talk to us about the balance and harmony. So, let me give you a little bit about Kaya's resume because I want everyone to understand why I chose her to be a part of this discussion. But Kaya is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. She's a graduate of Columbia College in Columbia, South Carolina, where she earned a BA in biology. She's married to Osby D. Watts, too easy, a
Too easy.
retired U.S. Air Force veteran, and together they do have three children, Brianna, Kiara, and Micah, and they have two grandchildren. So after Kaya completed college, she chose to prioritize her family while supporting her husband's military career. And I think that right there in itself, we're probably going to talk about it, but that's a huge step of faith and a huge step that a lot of women take when it comes to family. But choosing to prioritize her family included frequent moves throughout the United States and also Europe. So not only managing a family here in the States, but overseas as well. So through these experiences, she's been able to develop a passion for serving others, particularly children. She also is involved through different church ministries, her children's schools, PTA, Girl Scouts, and even a part-time teacher. So yeah, you juggle a lot. And
Yes.
today, Kaya is a local real estate agent. So if you're looking to buy a home, check her out. If you're looking to sell your home, check her out as well.
That's
Who
right.
brings that same heart for service to helping individuals and family navigate their real estate journey. Kaya remains deeply committed to her family and community, and she is excited to continue serving, leading, and teaching in this season. And I'm excited that she continued in this manner to impart in us some wisdom on balance and harmony. I know that balance is something that doesn't happen by accident. And Kaya, you are a woman who takes the time to ensure that your life reflects alignment, which I believe is definitely a key thing as it relates to our relationship with God. We want to make sure that we are in alignment between faith, responsibility, making sure that we're getting rest, adequate rest when we need to. Because I know you put that phone on do not disturb when it's
Yes.
time for you to get. Because there'll be times I'll be like, I'll text you. I think it was one time I text you and like, I looked like 2 or 3 minutes later, it was like, do not disturb. I said, she is not. Your phone must automatically go on do
Yes.
not disturb. So definitely your presence alone speaks to the beauty of being grounded, centered, and purposeful. So Kaya, it is a privilege to welcome you into this space and into this conversation. Welcome to Women on the Move. Thank you for being with me today.
And thank you for having me. This has been a year of stepping out of my comfort zone. So you definitely know when you asked me about doing this, I had to take a little moment to think about it. But here we are. And thank you.
I knew I had to give you a moment to like think about it, pray on it. I was like, I'm gonna ask her, and I knew I wanted to ask you in person. Like, I don't want to send her an email. I don't want to send her a text message. I want to
Mm,
ask her in person. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
absolutely.
All right, Kaya. So I just want to go ahead and jump right into these questions
Okay.
because um, you know, me and I think a lot of women can relate as to different seasons that we go through in our lives, right? And as you look back over different seasons that you have walked through, and when you consider where you are right now, reflecting on those past seasons of your life and the current season, which area would you say between your finances, friendships, or even organization do you feel you are most aligned with in this season? And I asked that question because I feel like as women, we want everything to be aligned all at one time, and we don't
Mhm.
recognize that during different seasons, like this season, it may be a focus of the kids, right? And the next season, it may be a focus on the husband, right? The next season may be a focus on
Yeah.
the career. So when you think about where you are in this season, which one do you feel like you're most aligned to it and kind of describe some of those seasons for us and what led you to being aligned in those different seasons?
So I think right now the one would have to be finances.
Mm,
And the reason I say finances is because I do remember a time where, when it came to finances, I don't necessarily say it was, living paycheck to paycheck, but it was definitely like, looking at expenses and kind of being like, oh, well, can we do this or can we do that? And now it's more like looking at our finances and knowing that we I guess I should say we steward our finances a little better. And so it's more of a stewardship versus an ownership mindset that I have now. So I'm a better manager and a better caretaker of the resources that God has given us. So I feel more at peace, knowing that it's a tool for me to use. I don't have any regrets about where my money goes or how I spend it. I don't have any issues with talking about finances to people. I'm not a person who, when that bill comes in the mail or I get the email, like, hey, the power bill, the light bill is coming out on the first. I'm like, okay, cool. I have just about all of our finances and our bills and things like that that are automatic. And I'm like, you know what? It's cool. We are
Take your
good.
money.
Yes, we have become just like better stewards with how we use our finances. And I think one reason for us being able to do that is because um, early on in my marriage, we had separate accounts. I think I shared that before. And so
Mhm.
we just kind of like did our own thing, but made sure bills were paid on time, not really looking at where we were spending money. And then probably about 4 or 5 years into our marriage is when we, combined our finances, which I recommend that you do starting off. That we did. And we were able to look and see where our finances, where we were spending money and, places where we probably need to not spend as much. And so,
Mhm.
just budgeting. And so, like I said, we become better at doing that. And it's, it's a good place.
It's a
Finances is
good
a
place.
good place for us right now. Yes,
I like how you said that finances is not something that we own, but something that we steward.
absolutely.
And that that's a gold nugget, right? Because we don't own this, right? God
Part of it.
owns it, but we steward what
Hmm.
he gives us. And that relates to all aspects of us, right? Our family, our
Hmm.
children, our husbands, our careers, all of it is owned by God, but he trusts us to steward it and steward it well with his guidance and with his wisdom. And you kind
Absolutely.
of shared how earlier on in your marriage, finances, it what didn't sound like maybe, wasn't like, y'all were out here worrying about trying to pull this in together, pull that in together. But you were just living life. Like, you know
We were
what? We
living
got the
life.
money, we gonna do
We
it,
gonna do it.
and we're
Right.
gonna make sure these bills get paid. Something
Hmm.
that I started doing, this probably was about 2 or 3 months ago, was I took my debit card off of my Amazon account, right? And I put my credit card onto my Amazon account. And because I'm an Amazon girl, right?
Yeah.
I'm a shop on Amazon. And that was such an eye-opener experience for me because when I started going, because when it's on your debit card, the money just coming out. Like you said,
Mhm.
the money is in. I'm like, I know the money is in there, whatever.
Right.
But like at the end of one month, I think I had spent like $400 or $500 on Amazon. I was like, now wait a minute, what did I buy?
What did I buy?
It's a totally different story now that I
Mhm.
have to take the money out to pay the bill because I was like, well, what did I buy? So that was an eye-opening experience for me. And that I think when you say owning versus stewarding, right? Because when you own it, you just out here doing whatever. But when you
Or
steward,
whatever.
you intentionally take the time to look and
Absolutely.
reflect on, okay, where is my
Absolutely.
money going? So I'm like, okay, well,
Absolutely.
Alicia, wait a minute now. $500 this month on Amazon. And you got this stuff tucked away in cabinets and closets that you can't go back and really think about what you have purchased
Hmm.
from Amazon. So start taking a little bit more act. So now when I see stuff, because I see something on the website and I'm like, you know what, you don't have to run to Amazon to see if they got it because if you want it today in 45 days, if you still want it, Amazon's still gonna have it. Somebody gonna have it.
Absolutely. And somebody gonna have it. Somebody gonna have it.
Somebody
And
will have it.
yeah, and I think it's probably been about, oh gosh, Micah is 20, so probably 15 plus years ago,
Mm,
I started doing an Excel spreadsheet budget. So really allotting how much money we're going to spend each month in certain areas.
mm,
And that became eye-opening. And just knowing like, oh, again, yes, you're spending a whole lot of money on Amazon. Is
mhm,
that needed? But then also when we talk about being stewards of what God has given us, I think so many times we're praying for more.
mm,
And God has already given us, enough to do a lot of things that we want to do, but because we are not good stewards of the resources and not just money, I mean, but even when we think about time,
Mm-hmm.
because we're just not good resources, excuse me, of what he has given
What?
us, then we feel like we need more. And I feel like until we, for a lot of people, until we, we become better stewards, then, that's
We're
when
gonna
he'll
run
bless
into
us
an
with
issue. It's
more.
gonna
Yeah.
always be a challenge.
Yeah.
Instead of praying for more, we need
Hmm.
to ask for discipline. We need to ask
Discipline.
to be,
Absolutely.
and that's my word for 2026, discipline.
Mm,
Just to
that's
be
good. Yeah.
disciplined in everything, not,
And
what I eat, what I spend, how I spend my time with God, just being more disciplined.
discipline. Hmm.
And,
That's good.
when you think about being aligned, because you talked about how, we're always praying for more. We're praying for more. God, give me more money, give me a better job, give me more, more, more. And sometimes God wants us just to take a pause and understand how to be aligned in one particular area. So you talked about this season, you're feeling aligned in your finances. And so when you're focusing on one area of being aligned, a lot of times what happens is we look at other areas and we feel like we're being stretched. So it's like my finances are great right now. However, my family is stretching.
Yeah.
You feel like your family is crumbling, or you're
Hmm.
not. Let me not say that it's a mess, but you feel like you don't have a manage on it, so
Hmm.
to speak.
Hmm.
So, which area would you say in your life right now is feeling most challenging to you to balance, and why is that a challenge right now?
So now it's organization.
Mm,
And after I looked at the questions that you sent, I was like, but I'm an organized person. I feel like I am very good at managing tasks, managing calendars, managing to-do lists, completing them,
mhm,
putting systems in place for my family, during busy seasons. But then I had to look and say, no, the organization is now I'm no longer in like some familiar roles that it's starting to shift. So I'm having to redefine like my identity,
mhm,
unlearning some old habits. Um, Life is kind of in a way slowing down for us since we now have young adults, two young adults and an adult child, who was
mhm.
married and, currently she has her own family now. So it's just now it's a place where, yeah, I'm just having to learn to be intentional about my time and it just feels a little different because things, like I said, they have slowed down. And not that it's wrong,
Mhm.
but it's just, again, having to form those new habits and, it's different now.
It's different. But I
It is
like how you
really
said,
different.
like, you're changing, right? You're evolving
Hmm.
as a woman because your kids are grown now. So
Hmm.
your role as mom, you're still mom, but your role as mom is different
Yes.
because your youngest is 20, so your
Yes.
youngest is an adult. Your
Hmm.
oldest is a mother and a wife and has her own family.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
you have the middle child who is a grown woman
Yes.
and figuring life out, going in, she's in grad school, right?
Grad school. Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody needs you, but they need you in a different way. And it's
Different
not
way.
like you're having to help them cross the street or help them tie their
Mhm.
shoes, but they still need you to nurture them. And I know this isn't one of the questions, but let's talk a little bit about that identity shift and how that can impact balance and harmony, because and I hear women talk about this a lot in their marriages and in their relationships, and sometimes that can be difficult in marriage, right? Because people are going to change, you're going to grow, you're going to expand, things are going to happen, and you have to be intentional about communicating with your spouse like, hey, look, this is what I'm going through right now. So as you navigate that change, and like you said, you're changing, how are you navigating so that you can still keep that balance and harmony.
So let me make sure I understand your question. At least you're asking me how am I currently balancing being a mom of just really adult kids?
Right. Right. So
So
it could be like being the mom of the adult kids and them not needing you as much. Like how are you navigating that shift in your life?
yeah, so now it's like you said before, it's what needs my attention right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's just really keeping that relationship with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer what I call myself a momager.
Yeah.
I'm more that intercessor when it comes to the
Yeah.
kids because I am just wanting to, of course, again, maintain that connection with them. Offer wisdom, offer support. When I'm invited, I try not to impose
Mm-hmm.
my own thoughts and feelings and all of that when sometimes I really, really want to. And just and also like trying to release not being a rescuer
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I see things and yeah, I'm just like, you know what, they're gonna have to make mistakes. And I know as parents, we want to be like, well, if you do this, and this, then this won't happen.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want to be an overprotective mom, which I
Right.
know at times I probably could have been. But again, they're young adults now, and so that is one area where Osby helps me. He steps in and he's like, Kaya, they're young adults.
Yeah.
And he's just like, easy breezy, too easy. You already
Too
know, too
easy.
easy.
Too
And I'm
easy.
like, but listen, this. And he was like, Kaya, pray about it. Like
Right.
we have instilled morals and values and the word of God in them. And
Train
now
up
it's
the child.
train
You
them up,
train them
child.
up.
That's right, train them up. And
Yeah.
it's on them now. So yeah, it's a little different because again, like you said, I'm not there to help tie shoes or, to drop
Mm-hmm.
off at school or, when they first started working, drop off at work, pick them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are young adults and
Right.
they are
Now
doing
you get
things
in
on
your
their
car and you
own.
drive yourself to work.
I,
If you late, you late.
exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
That's not on me. Okay.
Exactly.
But I
That's
like how
exactly
you
right.
said, and I know we always pray for our kids, but you said now it's more of an intercessor.
Hmm.
You have to intercede for your children, and a lot of times it's not just telling them what we want them to do and navigate in their space, but it's interceding for them.
Hmm.
And through intercession, I know we always will get balance through intercession, but how does God's guidance influence the way that you manage your time, you manage your energy, your resources? How does his guidance influence those things for you?
So for me, I try my best to not overcommit. I give myself permission to say no. I am very good at saying no. I am very good at saying no. And then just permitting myself to step back from roles and obligations that may no longer align with a season that I'm currently in, which is again, it's happening now. Um, Another way is through like how he guides me, like through our finances and stuff like that, is just making sure, again, we budget. We have done a budget for years and just being intentional about where we put our resources. Not necessarily feeling like just because someone is doing a fundraiser or, can you give to this or give to that? Not necessarily feeling like we have to, um, say yes and be a part of that.
Mm.
So
So it
yeah,
sounds like you got some good firm boundaries to protect your time,
I
to
do.
protect your peace, protect your money, your relationship.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we are very generous when it comes to giving, but and I tell people that if it was up to Osby would give away every dime that we have. He would
Yeah.
give away every dime that we have. But I think we just practice generosity with some healthy boundaries and healthy limits around it. So again, with our budget, like there is a line item for us to be givers outside of, our normal giving to our church. So
Right.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
why is it like that in marriage where you have somebody who would give away the whole house and then
The
somebody who's like,
whole
wait a
house.
minute, we can't
The
do that.
the whole house, he would give the house, the money, everything.
Baby, we'll get it back. We'll get it
Ru-
back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is absolutely what he says. That is
We'll
absolutely
get it
what he
back.
says, Alicia.
If God gave him once, he'll give it back again.
That is funny, yes.
And I think that's me, right? Because like, and I'll be like, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. But then like, something just tugs at my heartstrings. I'm like, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
But I like how you talked about just having that line item to say, okay, well, this year this is the amount, or even month on a monthly basis,
Mhm.
this is the amount that we're going to set aside to give outside of what you already give
Yep.
to your church, which is key, because God wants us to give. He wants us to be cheerful givers. He wants us to have a heart to give
Absolutely.
and not to give under compulsion. He doesn't want us to feel like we're obligated to give anything. And sometimes the best answer to maintain harmony and balance is no.
Yes, no.
Not right now, or I
Mhm.
just I can't do
Right.
it. So
Right.
you've kind of
Right.
talked about, some firm boundaries that you set to protect your family. You've talked about some different habits that you brought in from previous seasons of your life, whether it's financial, relational, organizational skills. And you sounds like you're pretty much fully integrating those into your life. But let's shift a little bit and talk about boundaries. So even with boundaries, so you said how we'll say no to this and we'll say no to that. Even with boundaries, life can sometimes still feel a little bit
Mhm.
heavy.
Mhm.
So when life gets overwhelming, what are your key go-to practices or reminders
Whew.
that bring you back to center with the spirit and just to keep things aligned?
So I got a lot, Alicia. And I have a lot, and I try to practice every single one of these. I really do. Because I know me and I know how I feel when I
Mm,
get overwhelmed with things. So one thing again is trying not to overfill my calendar. There are times when I have filled my calendar and I have gone back and, looked at it and said, okay, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I need to cancel some things. So
mm,
I don't have a problem going back and canceling something or rescheduling it for, later that week or maybe even the next week. But that's one thing, like trying not to overfill my calendar, saying no. I am so, so good at saying no. I put a period at the end of it, Alicia. I don't feel guilty when I say it, and
amen.
I don't feel like I owe anybody an explanation after I say it. I
Mm,
really don't. And I'm like, I look at my husband and he's like, Kaya, well, so and so wants to do this or do that. And I say, okay, but we can. Why did you tell them that you would talk to me about it? Like you could have already told them no at the time they ask you because you already know the answer. But he's gonna come to me and they joke around here. It's mainly him, and he'll be like, no, no, like a nickname. He'll be like, no, no, because he know I'm gonna
oh,
say
that's your
no.
nickname. No, no.
Yes. He'll be like, no, no. Cause he know I'll say no. I will.
Oh, that's too
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like I don't make other people's urgency
Mm,
it doesn't equal important to me. Like just
mm-hmm,
because it's urgent to you, it doesn't equal being important to me. I don't, you talked about, texting me and my phone being on do
mm-hmm,
not disturb. My phone literally goes on do not disturb at 9 p.m. It used to be 10 p.m. And I
mm,
changed it about 4 or 5 months ago from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. No, no,
mm.
sorry, from 9 p.m. to
And
9
on,
a.m. is
okay.
when my phone is on do not disturb. And I pretty much I stick to it. I stick to it.
Wow.
I don't feel obligated when I see a text message come through, when I see an email come through. I don't feel obligated to respond immediately. Now, because of my job, there are times that an email or a text message may come through and I need to respond.
Hmm.
But then there are other times like my response may be, hey, I got your text. I'll get back with you. You know what I'm saying? Just
Okay.
so you know that I received it and I'm acknowledging it. But I'm not a group text person. I hate group chats. I don't. I will put the moment they start, I put them on silent
That's me.
because I don't, I don't, I don't. And then I'll delete social media. Like if things, things in the world
Hmm.
start to, get heavy and I'll delete social media or limit my time on it. Um yeah, I don't make other people's I try not to take on other people's responsibilities and
Right.
sometimes that's hard, but depending on who the person is, but I have to limit things that drain me because
Yeah.
I know how I feel. So I protect my peace. And
Right.
so
Protect your
and
PISA.
yeah, I protect it in so many ways. I have to. I have
And I
to.
can only imagine, Kaya, because like with you being a realtor, right? Because like I remember I brought two homes. And I remember the first house that I brought, I was in crunch time because at this particular time I was in an apartment and
Hmm.
I had did like a 6 month lease because I was like, I'm gonna be in that house by the summertime. And
Hmm.
so like right when I got approved for my house, I think I maybe had like 60 days to like find a house, move in, and because you have to tell them 30 days before that you're not gonna renew the 6 month lease. So I remember like I was on crunch time and I was texting my realtor like I wanted him to be like
Yeah.
So, like, even with you being a realtor, because, like you said, this may be urgent for somebody else, and it's like a demanding time for them.
Hmm.
But to you, like, it's your job. But I know you handle your clients with respect. I know you treat them like family, but you also can't get caught up in what's overwhelming for them to make it an overwhelming experience for you. So, how do you manage that, like that relationship with your client so that they don't feel like, oh, she's just neglecting me and she know I got to get in this house in 30 days.
Hmm. Hmm. I set those expectations up front.
Okay.
I set them up front. I let them know that when I am available. Because even though my phone goes on Do Not Disturb at 9 at night, I'm not available to my clients until 9 o'clock at night. So
Okay.
most of the time, I'm cutting that off by like 6 o'clock. But again, it depends on the client, and you just kind of know up front, like especially if I'm working with a first time home buyer, they have so many questions. They have so
Right.
many questions. And I say, hey, send me those questions, but understand that you may not get a response until the next day. And I've
Okay.
had clients that work third shift. So, that's when they're on. I'm asleep. Like,
Right.
be, send the questions, send the text, send the emails. I'll respond to you the next day. And
Mhm.
so just setting those expectations up front because my family is and always has been my priority.
Amen.
Yeah, and the rest of it comes later. And if you're a client that you feel like you need for me to be on all the time and available to you all the time, then I may not be
I'm not the realtor for
the
you.
realtor for you. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And it's okay. What they say,
Right.
all
And
money ain't
that's
good
perfect
money.
because I'm not going to be stressed out and
Mm-mm.
you don't need to be stressed out because
Nope.
I'm not responding
Right.
to
Not at all.
you.
Right.
But I like how
Not
you
at all.
talked about, especially like with first time home buyers, because I know I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. The second time around, it was a little bit different because I understood the process and I understood a lot of things are outside of the realtor's control, right? So it's
Yes,
like
some
it's
things
not really
are.
them. They can't give you an answer if they don't know the answer.
Right.
So um and now just even thinking about your profession, I'm like, God, God really is intentional because He got you in the the perfect place to let people go into their new homes with some balance. You definitely are, because I couldn't be a realtor. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's good. I honestly I'll work with all. I've worked in investors too. I work with all of them, but I really like first time home buyers. I
Mm.
really like walking them through the steps. Some of my first time home buyers I have given my Excel spreadsheet to
Okay.
their budget, to get them on the right path. So although they may not be ready in December 2025 to purchase,
Right.
let's take this spreadsheet, let's do some budgeting. So come December 2026, or maybe even 6 months from now, you're ready. But yeah,
Right.
I really like first time home buyers. They're excited, they're eager, they, even want to, learn
Yeah. So
because
what made you want to get into real estate?
so, what made me want to get into real estate? For one, because I have pretty much, when Osby retired, because I have pretty much just been a stay-at-home mom, and on my own time. Like
Hmm.
I'm not asking nobody, can I take no time off of work? I just could not see myself going back to
Okay.
corporate America or working a 9 to 5 and having to ask because and I've shared with people before, like when Osby retired, Michael was in the 6th grade, Kiera was in the 9th grade, and Brianna had already graduated college.
Okay.
But I had told him, once I became a stay-at-home mom, after about a year or so, I was like, hey, I don't want to go back to work until, Micah graduates.
Okay.
And so, that was, we agreed, that I wouldn't go back to working a full-time job. And then when Micah graduated, I was like, well, even before Micah graduated, I had my real estate license, but I just
Okay.
knew that, and I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5. But I also like helping people. I like learning. In a way, I like teaching, but just certain things. And so the home buying process, just, teaching people. I'm not a finance guru or anything, but one thing I can help people with is showing them how to budget, and just helping people through the entire process.
Yeah, and get them ready to
Yeah, getting them ready.
purchase.
Because believe me, it's not a glorious HGTV job.
Right.
Opening doors and, whoo, there's this, nice decorated home. It is absolutely not that. So not at all.
Wait a
Not,
minute, it's not.
mm-mm,
It's like,
not
no,
even close.
it's not like that at
Mm-mm,
all. Like, you
not at all.
definitely only see the bits and pieces. I remember, it's so funny because I
Hmm.
remember when I was pregnant and I used to watch, it was this TV show that came on, I think it was TLC, but it was the pregnant women. I used to watch
Uh-huh.
it because it would just, you got 30 minutes, but
Yeah.
they would show these women's going through their pregnancies, and then, they're in the hospital when they're having these babies and they come home. And as I got closer and closer and closer to get ready to deliver, I was like, I can't do this.
This,
So when
this
you
ain't
say,
this.
right, this don't look nothing like they did.
Mm-mm,
What?
mm-mm,
So yeah. So HGTV, like, yeah, you may think this is what it looks
mm-mm.
like. Oh, but
No,
it is
not
something
at all.
totally
Not at all. Not at
different.
all.
Well, I am glad that God led you to it, because it sounded like you knew you wanted to do something, but you still wanted to have some control over your life, and it
Yeah.
definitely fits perfectly with you. So let's talk a little bit about Kaya, because I know that you have a strong support system. I know your husband. I'm not gonna say pretty well, but I know him on a level to know that he definitely is supportive. I've
Hmm.
met your daughter, both of your daughters, but I know your family is supportive, because when you think about balance, it's something that we can't carry alone. In order for us to manage
Hmm.
balance and have that harmony, we can't do it by ourselves. So who in your life actively supports your growth towards staying balanced and how can you engage with them, or how do you engage with them on an intentional basis to keep that balance?
So right now, Alicia, if we're being totally honest, that person is my husband. It
Amen.
is, it is mostly Osby that supports my growth towards, just balance every day. He,
Hmm.
creates a space for me to rest. He kind of reminds me or kind of says like, "Hey, Kaya, you doing too much."
Mm.
And so he'll step in and he'll help. So like when I volunteering at the school, I was over concessions for 5 years.
Okay.
Um, and that's something when we talk about balance, that's something that I'm in the process of stepping away from. So just knowing on top of that, that he would step in and help, and just supporting, the decisions that I make, that we make to
Mhm.
protect our family. And so yeah, he is that main person. We try to do regular check-ins. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it's monthly, sometimes we have a good rhythm going, and then we'll
Mhm.
fall off for a little bit and then we'll hop back on. But because he's retired, he's at home, and I work mostly from home. I mean, we have the opportunity to, just check in. Sometimes it might be a text message, although I'm in my office and he in his office. But yeah, like we're like, checking in or something.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, you have to be definitely intentional about it. But I remember, and this was my first year that I was asked to help organize the squad party.
Hmm.
And I remember working with you in Osby, and I think it was like I think it was when your car had broke down. And we were supposed to have a meeting or something, and like we end up like pushing the meeting back like by a few minutes because you had to go pick up a truck from your in-laws or somebody.
Yeah.
And I remember you was just like, yeah, because we are a team.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you was like, because we are a team and
Yeah.
this don't work without us. And I was
Yeah.
like, go ahead. Like,
Yeah, we definitely like when we're making decisions because we are a team, and whatever decision I make, whatever decision he
hmm,
makes, um, yeah, we're a team. Like again, I give the example of me being over concessions at the high school a lot because I did it for 5 years. I did it during football season, I did it during
hmm,
basketball season, and it was time consuming. Like every Thursday, every Friday, I'm at football games.
yeah,
And so, knowing that I am the one that signed up for it, but also Osby is the one, you know what I mean? Because
he helps.
he
Yeah.
helped, he helped
You
when
signed
he
both of
went to,
y'all up for it.
yeah. And sometimes that happens. So definitely we like to check in like, hey, I'm going to, sign up or commit to this. And this is, a new season. So this is,
Yeah.
changing dynamics in the house. Like I may need you to take this on because now I'm committed to this. And, it goes both ways for us. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'm learning because my husband and I, we both got married later in life.
Hmm.
So we just hit 4 years, but it feels like we've been married for a long time. But and not I don't say that in a bad way. I just say
Yeah.
that because we pretty much like kind of jumped in and like we're still figuring out a good rhythm. But one thing that I'm learning to do now is just to bring him into what I'm doing because I remember when like we were dating and at the time when we like had first started dating, girl, I was still trying to find myself because I was going through a separation, going through a divorce,
Hmm.
and I knew I wanted to do something different. So I was like, I'm going back to school, and I had enrolled in school, and I was going to school to get my bachelor's degree, and I was doing all these things. And I remember him saying like, "Oh, well, I didn't know that was a part of the plan." And I was just like, well, was it? But it is now. So,
Yeah.
but now, like, I really try to be more intentional with, especially if it's something that God is putting on my heart to do, to
Hmm.
like bring Him into it because I know that me putting my focus in this area is going to take time and energy from another
Yeah.
area. And I want to make sure that I feel supported, but I also want to make sure that he feels supported. He doesn't feel like I'm neglecting him for
Right.
something else. So yeah, I'll never forget when you said we're a team. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I like that. And I like to be around women who, lift up their husbands, who build their husbands up and work as a team with, I mean, because what's the purpose in being married if you're not gonna be a team
Right.
together,
And
right?
yeah, because for us, I mean, our seasons have looked different so much. And I
Yeah,
mean, our seasons could change every 2 years, it could change every 4 years, with him being in the military and us moving as often as we did sometimes. So yeah, we had to be a team. Because there were seasons where I tell people there were seasons where I was like a single mother, although he was there. I
yeah,
still like my life was almost like being a single mom because he worked so much, or he worked long hours, or he could be gone for 2 months, or he could be gone for 6 months. There was a period in
wow.
time where he was gone for a year, to
Mm,
Korea, and it was just me and the kids. We were living in Nebraska at the time, so
mm,
yeah, we have to be a team. And even with us being separated by distance, because of that, there were still times where, like, listen, we got to check in, and somebody might say, hey, well, this needs to be done to the car, or, something is going on. I'm like, listen, I'll let you know in like a day or two, because,
right.
there was just some decisions I made on my own, and in knowing that he would trust me to make those decisions. But then times where I'm like, you know what? I gotta wait until we can Skype, because that's what we had then. We
Oh
ain't have no
yeah, yeah.
FaceTime. We ain't had no Zoom. We had Skype.
Yes, Skype. I remember Skyping. Yep.
We had Skype. So yeah, it was like, oh, listen, I gotta wait until we Skype, and then listen, we gotta discuss it because we're a team. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
what's one bold step, Kaya, when you think about encouraging women to live life more aligned and
Mhm.
anchored and balanced? What's one bold step that you would encourage women to take in order to accomplish that?
One bold step. Um, Okay, so I got two. I got two. I got two.
Okay.
One would definitely be to just establish healthy boundaries.
Mm,
I mean, I know we want to say, as women, we want to, be there for everybody and help everybody do everything. But just saying no, especially to things that will drain you, or, take you away from your core priorities, it's okay. It
yeah.
is okay to, just establish those healthy boundaries, excuse me, and just saying no. Sometimes it's just saying no, and no goes a very long way. And then just protecting your time and your space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's so important. It's so important if you have, not just if you're single, but I mean, not just if you're married, but even when you're single. Like,
Right.
it's just so important to protect that, your time and your emotional space, because for me, like, again, my time is precious. My emotional space is precious. I always want my home to be a place of peace, but
Right.
it can only be, peaceful, and a place of peace, like, if it's just not a whole bunch of chaos, a
Exactly.
whole bunch of chaos just going on. And that's chaos from my end, from, Osby's end, or even from the kids, because I mean, although Micah's in school, when he comes home, like, no, I still need this to be a place of peace. Kiara's back at home. She's in grad school. There are moments where grad school can get the best of her. It
Right.
might be a long day. And when she come home, I'm like, listen, let's
Right.
reel this in, because this is gonna be a peaceful place. This is gonna be a peace. Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Yeah.
through it, but this is gonna be a peaceful
It's
place.
gonna be peace. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as women, I know a lot of times we don't, and this is something I think about. I think about it a lot of times, but like we don't realize the power and the responsibility that we have. But our families really look into us and lean on us to like guide the ship.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're trying to figure out, why do I always have to be the one to decide where we're gonna eat at, what's for dinner, go to the grocery store and do all those
All
things.
of it.
But
All of it.
but but that is a sense of peace. And like, sometimes when your daughter comes home from grad school and you're like, okay, but because we have prioritized our life in such a way, because I know like even for me with Talisha, and because there are times she'll come home and she's like all over, like mom, this,
Yeah.
this, 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 this. And I'm like, girl, or she'll be texting me and I'm like, well, can we just talk about this when you get home? Like,
Yes,
let's talk
yes,
about this
the
when you get
text.
home. And I really had to like just think because like this was my year of really like because when you talked about earlier like being an intercessor and just letting go, this was really my year of saying, you know what, Alicia, you gotta let the reins go.
Yeah,
And you gotta let her do whatever it is that she wants to do and what she needs to do and just trust God in it.
that's it.
And listen with that spiritual ear to say, okay, you know what, I know she's coming at me with a lot, but she really doesn't, she's giving it to me, but she doesn't need my advice on it. She just needs that ear.
She needs that
Um,
ear. Absolutely.
and sometimes that's
Absolutely.
that bold step is just being able to say, okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to give a response. No, I'm not going to interject myself into the situation. I'm just going to be who God called me to be in this moment so that I can be anchored and I can be balanced. And, you
Yes.
know, I feel like when God created women, like he took an extra measure of some spices and stuff, and he was like, I know you're gonna need this. So
Right.
don't worry, but I am giving you this extra spice so that you can be the house manager, the parent, the wife.
All of it. All of it.
You can be all of the things. Don't
All of
ask
it.
me why. Don't ask me how. Just know that it is going to get done. So women,
Absolutely.
we have a special role in creation.
Yes, we do. Yes,
We got a
we
special role
do.
in now, I don't want to say, that God favors us, but I do feel favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Feel favor. All right, Kaya. So just to kind of conclude this discussion and just looking forward, right? So let's
Mhm.
lift our eyes forward and imagine um, for that person who's like, I've heard all of this and I really want alignment to be a lifestyle for me, not just something that I'm wishing about or I'm hoping for, but I
Mhm.
want alignment to be a lifestyle. So when you
Mhm.
think about or when you fully reflect on wholeness, peace, and purpose, um, and you take your life, right? What would that look like day to day so that alignment and you can explain for us like how it looks for you like in real life or you could just speak to that lady who is saying I want this life like I don't necessarily want Kaya's life but I want to be able to practice um what she's talking about so
Mhm.
that my life can fully reflect wholeness, peace, and purpose.
So for me, and I can't, and I don't have it figured out. My goodness, I don't. But for me, it's a lot of times it's waking up and I'm like asking myself who it is that I want to be today. And also asking God, how does He want me to, to show up today? And that's in my marriage as a mom, um, and, in my career, because some days it's like, Lord, when it comes to these young adults, today he might be like, Kaya, I need you to show up as joy. I need you to show up as joy. I need you to show up as peace, and it's just really at like how God, how do you want me to show up today?
Right.
How do you want me to show up today? And then just kind of reflecting and reassessing seasonally what life looks like, and
Hmm.
that seasonally can look different for everybody. For some people it might be month to month, and I think for me I am that month to month person, because I'm like, okay, Lord, this, for the last month I've tried it this way, and it hasn't worked. So Lord, what do you want me to do?
Right.
And I'm always like asking, I'm always having conversations with God. I told the kids one day, I was like, I'm so glad that these cars have Bluetooth now, because there are days like I am literally talking like this to God. And I'm like, I don't need people looking at me like, dang. I mean, they could probably think I'm talking to somebody else.
Well, let
And
me
no,
raise
I'm
my
not
hand on
talking.
that because that is me.
I'm not talking to anybody. I am talking to the Lord. We are having a full-blown conversation just like this. And I am
Yes.
having to ask him, like, Lord, how do you need me to show up? I have to ask him almost every single day, how do you want me to show up? I am constantly like reflecting and just reassessing what things look like for me, what's working, what's not working, adjusting some routines, adjusting commitments, because
Yeah.
it's no longer serving me. It's
Right.
no longer serving me. And so yeah, just reflecting and reassessing. I wish I could say journaling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a journaler. And I
Okay.
say every single year that I am going to try. And I start out good. I start out good, but it's not for me. But I know it's for so many, so many people do it. So if that's something that helps you, then definitely journaling. But yeah, just asking yourself who it is that you want to be today.
Right.
And asking God, how does He want you to show up?
How you want me to show
How
up?
do you want me to show up?
Because
Because
our
that could be
alignment
something
looks
different every
different.
day.
You
Yeah,
know, we
it
can't
does.
compare and it's not always apples to apples and oranges to oranges. And we can't say, oh well, when I look at Kaya's life and it's like she has this because our lives are designed, even though they may be similar, our lives are designed differently. And we're
Absolutely.
we're stewards over different types of people, different types of emotions. So and I'm glad you came out the closet with, being the one who prays out loud. Like, cause I that is me. So I'm glad I'm not the
Listen,
only one who was in the car, like
listen. Right. We having a
having
conversation.
a full-blown
Full blown
conversation.
conversation. full full blown conversation. And I
Ain't
say, Lord,
nobody in this car with me, but I am
but
talking
me.
to the Lord.
I'm glad there is Bluetooth now, so they people don't know. Like she talking to herself.
Right. Oh man, because that is listen, nowadays, like when Bluetooth first came out, I was like, people may think I'm talking to myself, but now that I know pretty much every car has it, I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. I am.
when
I
I need to
am.
get it out, I am just going to get
Get it
it
out.
out and talk to the
Hmm.
Lord in the car wherever I
Yeah,
am.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so I think just to kind of, end it is, just to um lean into God, of course,
Absolutely.
and understand what works for you.
Hmm.
And just be assured in knowing that balance in one area doesn't necessarily mean an imbalance in another area.
Right.
Just because everything is flowing in this particular area doesn't mean that you have something is off in another area. It just
Right.
means that this is the season that this requires your attention
Hmm.
and being intentional about communicating with our spouses,
Hmm.
so that we have that room to grow. And you kind of talked about that as well, because when you feel that shift and you feel that you are growing and you're evolving into I don't want to say a different woman, but it's just another aspect of you that's blossoming, and you're trying to figure it out. How do I
Right.
navigate life as this woman
Yeah.
so that you still feel that balance and that harmony? And so it sounds like you have some good support. And I thank you again, Kaya, for coming on and sharing all of your tips and tricks, for just being a woman of balance. And I definitely thank you for because I mean, I knew you were going to speak to all these things, but I didn't have to question what you were going to bring because when I see you, like from the first time that I met you, you just carried grace. Like you've always carried that, and you and Osby both like y'all are just that unit where it's just like my daughter and I, we love both of y'all, and it's just
Thank
like
you.
Kaya and Osby,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Y'all are the family. It's like we learned so much from you all. And so I knew you were going to come on. I knew you were going to speak from a place of truth. I knew you were going to speak from a place of transparency because I see it. And it's not like I'm with you 365, but when you show up, you definitely carry it. So thank you so much. And I'm glad that
Welcome.
in all of your saying no's, you did not say no
I
to
didn't say
me.
no to you.
I am so grateful that in all of the no's that you gave out in 2025, that I was not
Yeah.
a no. So
Let me see. Today is what, the 31st. You were
yeah,
my last yes. My last
I
yes
made it in. I made it.
for 2025.
I can check it off the list. I was not a no for Kai. Now I'm not gonna push it in 2026. I'm not pushing it. But thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, next year, you just watch. You just watch next year.
Yeah, this is where, like I said, that the organization and having to where I'm feeling disorganized and having to get rid of stuff, that's because I know that I'm stepping into a new season.
Yeah,
And so just having to let go of some old things, again, old habits, and
yeah,
just you know, stepping in. And it's been hard because there's one thing that I have let go of
mhm,
with being at the school and being over concessions. I did it. Michael graduated 2 years ago, and I'm just now letting it go. And that is because I truly, truly, truly enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed
mm,
those students and having them students say, like, they see me on Friday nights, they like, Miss Watts, guess
yeah.
what? I got accepted into this college,
Oh
or
yeah,
and or them coming back after they've graduated, and they're like, Miss Watts, you're still here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still
yeah.
here. But I really, 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 truly enjoyed it. And it has been hard letting go of some things, and that's probably one that has been the hardest. But again, I know that I'm having to let go of some things to step into a new season of what God is
What
calling
God is
my life to.
doing.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
prayers on the
Okay.
journey,
Thank
and
you.
I'm glad that I get to witness it because I know it's going to be phenomenal and it's going to be a blessing to God's kingdom. So I'm gonna just be in the
Amen.
background, like, yep,
I
she was on
told
Women on the
you.
Move. I told y'all, y'all better go to that YouTube. She's a star. I had her on. I had her on. All right, Kaya.
Thank
Thank you
you.
again so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alicia. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.